Hi chums, right, just going to let you see what's happening at the moment. There's not a lot to see because this is the preparation for the final push on Saturday. So I'll show you what has happened here. Just be careful, not make sure you don't get Mrs. B on the thing. So there we have it. Very narrow, it's just less than 2 feet wide or 60 centimeters, which means that all the scaffold doesn't fit. So it had to be done in such a way that you can see the poles are crushed in together here, and then they're tied into the walls, and then they're tied onto the ground as well, tied on as in nailed on, and everything is nailed onto the fascia of the house. You can see here, there's a steel plate in the bottom, and then it's trapped under these wooden things that are nailed into the ground. Everything is well secured because men are going to go up on this, you know. I'll show you from this other side, you get a better idea of what's happening, you know. And maybe even if you all behave yourselves, I'll maybe take you down to see my corn and stuff. So, and there's the only thing my wife asked for from my mother's house. How many of you remember one of those? An old mangle or ringer, depending where you came from. And they're very, very simple machine. There was your tray that you collected the water in, because there's a little hole for the water to go out there, right? And then it was just a matter of turning this handle, and that turned the rollers, and then you could vary the height of they still work. You could vary the height of the rollers by moving these two screws up and down. So when you put your first laundry in, and I used this many times as a child, before there were no tumble dryers then, and you'd be doing sheets. Sheets were hard to do because they were so long. But what you did was you folded them over and you brought them through, and you give them one run through, and they collected on the back then. Then you bring them. You always had a basin here at the front, right? So your operation technique was, you had a bucket underneath there to catch the water. You had a basin here a big basin with your wet clothes in it, and then the wet clothes went up into the mangle or the ringer, and then the water came down and then went onto this platform, so your clothes stayed clean then. And then you lifted them and you brought them back over to this side, and you screwed these down. You kept putting them through until they were fairly dry, and you could actually get clothes very dry with this, because it's a very efficient machine. Very simple, very efficient. And then if you want to store it for when you don't need it, you just do what? Oh, no, I don't know what I've done I've forgotten what to do to get it down. And I lifted it up last night and I can't remember. Oh, there's it there. It's a bit tight. Now, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get this sorted out for later on and show you how it turns up, okay? But here at the house you can see what they've had to do. Because of the scaffolds, they can't get a clean run across because of the way it's fixed. So they had to build a scaffold at one end and a scaffold at the other, and then they've got 6 planks here doubled up to make a platform between the two, because they couldn't get a board long enough to go across to span from one side of the shed to the other, or of the roof to the other. But as you can see, the fascia boards are on, and that's the scratch coat. The next thing will be the dash, will be done the back of the sheds and in around here. Now this part here, I'm not getting these done. What I'll do with these is I'll paint these whenever I get them cleaned up, and I'll paint a grey line along the bottom. That'll be enough to do. There's no point in spending money and getting these dashed, because nobody's going to ever see them, you know. You want the impact at the front, you know. So we'll decide to leave these. It also meant that I don't have to move all this wooden stuff now to get it done, you know. So that's what we're at there now. They're working off that, and it's actually not as bad as you think. It looks very quite a slope, but it's not. When you're up there, it's hardly anything at all, you know. You'd hardly feel it when you're walking up and down. So as I say, the boys, there's only one man here this week, and I've been kind of labouring to him, which has been absolutely wrecked me. It's very simple stuff, get this, get that, but it's just it's hard work, you know. But anyway, that's where we are. So I'll just go around this side again here and show you the scaffold from up underneath, basically, or underneath it, and let you see it while they're working. So then on Saturday, oh goodness, I'm very tired again. On Saturday, the boys are coming to finish off. That'll be all the plastering done. So there's a wee alleyway, and then you go up onto the scaffold up there. It's about 10 feet high, 10 or 11 feet high. And then what they'll do on Saturday is they'll dash the top part, and then they'll come down, take all the scaffold down and do the bottom part, and then do the sheds. And that's it done. And I'll send the the guy this morning doing it, how long is it going to take? He went, maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon it'll be finished. So that's not too bad, you know, but I'm going to get cleaned up and stuff now. But a bit of a sad thing, one of our friends, one of our mates died yesterday, and his funeral's tomorrow morning, so that's all work stops for that, you know, because we're all mates, you know, and we've often wondered about who was going to die first, you know. We didn't, not a lot, but we all dreaded the thought of it happening, you know, because we've been together for 25 years, you know, maybe 30 years. We've been running about together, and every Friday night we went over to one of the guys' garages. He's a mechanic and he's a huge big garage, and would help clean up the place and move stuff for him for the next week, because he's self-employed, works on his own, so he has some very ingenious ways of moving heavy things. But on a Friday night we would all arrive in, and at that time when I was fit too, we'd be moving engines and stuff and moving bits of cars and getting things ready for the next week to get him set up, and then we'd have a few beers and a game of cards and solve all the world's problems and go home. So we've all been stuck together for the last 25-30 years, so we're good mates, you know. So one of the boys died, and that's the way it is, you know. But I'm not fishing for condolences here, so you don't need to go. Please don't enter that, because it's a kind of a private thing, you know, and I don't want the family reading this and then seeing a whole lot of stuff underneath, because they're in a bit of a bad way, and it was a tough one for them, you know. The old cancer again. But anyway, I'll do a wee bit in the greenhouse now, okay, and then I'll do the thing in the ringer. That's what it was, the ringer. Okay, all the best now. Bye bye.